I have felt me guilty that I am not talking about my traveling to Israel and back to Sweden. But I have got influenza, the flu, and it was from Israel that I got. And it have been very hard on my throat, and maybe I am not going to be okay in my throat for some more weeks. But you have to excuse me and apologize to not could talk clearly like I did before I went to Israel. And I think it was very strange that I didn't go sick the whole time I was in Israel, and I was not sick on my way. I was on the airports, and I didn't have the mask on so much because I forget to take it on because it was stressful when they come and give me assistance. And it was very hard both on my way to Israel and back. And I didn't know that my brain was so much damaged as it was, that I find out when I go back from Israel to Sweden. So I don't know how much I have been talking about my traveling to Israel, but the people give me, I don't know who it was or if it was a supernatural way to get money from, but I got about $10,000 to travel with from different directions. And everything, before I traveled to Israel, I tried to take my scooter with me because I can't walk for a long distance. So it should have been great to have my scooter with me. And everything was okay. I could bring it with me the whole way until Tel Aviv airport. But there, from the airport to Jerusalem, there were no taxi that took the scooter with them. And in Israel, they don't have this kind of scooter I have that is very big scooter, and I can travel around for about 3 hours, and the electricity doesn't go out. But in Israel, those scooters that I should be able to rent, they were very expensive. But I had the money to rent. But they were not going so far. Everything was about tourist things in Israel. So those scooter was only to bring on to the inside the taxi and then driving around a little on that tourist areas. It was half of the capacity like my scooter have. So but I still wanted to rent this small scooter they have, that they can fold the scooter and carry it so they can go on the train, the city train. They can drive, go around with that train and then take the scooter to the inside the area where they should go and be a tourist. So everything was different thinking, and it was only to make so much money they could do from tourists, and I say I wanted to rent those small when I come to Jerusalem, but there were no scooter to rent. So I'm wondering how many scooters there was to rent in Jerusalem. I think they only wanted people to go around with the taxi and pay much money for the taxi. And I did that a few times. Not so much taxi, because it disturbed me so much, because my brain couldn't count out how much money I should pay for the taxi. So most of the taxi driver took so much money from me, because I was disturbed in my brain about that kind of thing. And as I was by myself, and most of the drivers is Muslims that come from Palestine to work in Jerusalem, that I knew since before, because I have taken taxi before I was disabled. So they don't speak English in the taxi. It's very few that speak English of taxi driver in Jerusalem. And he that I was with for some days, he told me that it's a very little company of taxi. The taxi driver own their own car, and they pay much for the car, and then they want us that go with the taxi to pay their taxi car, each person to pay the taxi car for them. They want so much money, and so I didn't want to do that. I tried to walk outside on my own, but it was. I was happy to know that there is a taxi to take from my home and over the bridge and to Copenhagen, Denmark's airport. For me, I think it was not so very much money because I could go with the taxi from my door at the home until and inside the airport in Denmark. So that's service to could get that service. It means much for me, as I am on my own, alone. So I need that service. And it cost about $150 one direction. So $300. And I think that was not much. And the people can be 4 people that go with a taxi and split the money, and then it's not much. And I thought it was not much for me either, be by myself. And I got the assistant immediately in Copenhagen. And we check in, and then I check in the bags. I think there is some part of this traveling that I have forgotten because it was much stress over it. But when I should check in and give them my ticket, they say that I couldn't go up on the airplane because I needed COVID insurance. And I had a look at it on the internet maybe 2 weeks before I should travel, and there was nothing said about that. So I didn't pay for insurance, and it was about 2 days before I come to the airport that it have started to be that it was Israel. It was not those airplane I go with. It was Israel that wanted. We from Sweden and Denmark needed to have COVID insurance. That means if we should be sick in Israel in COVID, then we could be at the hospital in Israel, but Sweden or Denmark pay for everything. So that, but those people that come from Finland, they didn't need to have it. I don't know why Finland didn't need to have it. If they see Finland as more poor than Sweden and Denmark. I don't know why it was like that, but I was traveling over Finland. I traveled from Sweden to Denmark and from Finland to Israel. And so I have to wait. They help me and call insurance in Denmark, insurance company, and they say we can fix the insurance in 2 days. So and it was about $300 to get the insurance papers. So I was thinking that I didn't want to start over again, to travel back to my home and then order a taxi again and pay for that. And the taxi was the same price for two. I have to travel from Copenhagen back home and then go back to the airport, and that was about $300. So I was thinking it's almost the same if I stay at a hotel at the airport and then wait for the insurance to come. I was thinking like that, and I was interested also to sleep in a hotel, and I feel so relief when I have started my traveling. So it was disturbing to go back again. So I asked if they had a hotel in this kind of what happened with the airplane, that we can't go on the airplane, that we have to wait. So I asked them if they had a hotel like that. And they had a hotel. And they took me in a wheelchair, and it was far away from the airport to walk. And it was over many streets, busy streets. So I was thankful that I had someone that drove my wheelchair and took my suitcase with me to the hotel. And but and she left me there, the assistance for the airport. And then they say to me that I couldn't stay at the hotel because my brain not working in some areas. So I was not really understood what to do with this interrupt that I didn't come on the airplane, because I had changed all the money to be in shekel, so I didn't have any euro money or Swedish money. In Denmark I can pay in Swedish money in some places. And I didn't have anything because all the money was going into shekel. But in the process to exchange the money I got, that I have to take out from my bank account, because I have talked about that I have bills to pay from when I was leaving Sweden to be homeless in United States. And when I was in United States, my husband and my son make bills for me because they could go into my account and order. They order pizza, much pizza. They order movies. They order records and many equipment that stood on me that I have to pay. So it was much money that waiting for me when I come back to Sweden in 2004. And I was homeless still in Sweden, and I didn't had any income when I come back to Sweden. So those money, I couldn't pay those money that I have to pay. That was not me that have used those money. And they wanted, my husband, he had sell his scooter, the same sort that I have today. And he was selling that to Germany. But that scooter was something we rent from the hospital. So, and as he was from America, when he was from United States, so he didn't need to sign under all those things we rent. And when he did sell it to Germany, and he was living here in Sweden, and when he had, the Swedish government told him that he was not allowed to be in Sweden when we were not together. So he left Sweden and go back to United States. And before he went away, he was selling everything that was in my name. And so I could never pay those bills, and I have not paid those bills because I have not been a wealthy person. I have retirement, and I say it's about $400 to use. When all the bills have been paid, I have about $400. And now I have those. Yesterday and today I was to make my feet and legs. I have got massage on my legs today, and it cost much money to do this, but I have to do it so I can still walk. It can certainly be stop for me to could move around with my legs if I don't do anything. So I do that. I have started to get massage on my legs, so it's the blood is flowing in the legs as it should. And so I have money that I can never, as long as I see it today, I have money that I can't pay for what they have done when I was in 3.5 years in the United States. They thought it was a party in Sweden to take up all the money, and of course I didn't have my bank account with me to United States because it was closed later on, and so I didn't have any money in United States as I was homeless, so I didn't have any bank account in the United States. So it's have been a problem, but not so much problem because I can close it out from my brain about this with the money and be in peace. So I didn't have any money, and in that process that every money I got into my bank account that I have now. I have a bank account. And there is a limit. I can only have about $400, and everything that is over that limit, they take the money to pay those bills that was built up in 2000, year 2000. We have that in Sweden, that we can't walk away from bills. Here in Sweden, they are hunting us. It was not like that in the United States, because they couldn't see if you have a bank account that is in New York, those banks in Los Angeles can't see it. And now I think it's different with the computer things. But in that time, 2000, was it like that? So I could move away from bills. But that I can't do in Sweden. They will always be there and wanted to have money from me. So every time that someone have sent money to my bank account, I have to take it out. So I exchange it to shekel, because I was on my way to Israel. But one day, they told me from heaven, my ancestors told me that I should exchange it to US dollar, to have about 1,000 US dollar in my pocket. And I didn't know why I should have that, but I did it. And so I come to know it because that hotel in Copenhagen, they couldn't take US dollar. I have to have Danish money, or have money on my bank account to pay for a room. But they say there is one hotel here in this area that you can pay with US dollar, they say, to be at that hotel. But it was a very expensive hotel. I was staying there 2 days, and that took some of the US dollar for me, but it was exactly what they say from heaven. I didn't know why should I exchange it to US dollar and not only have shekel with me. And then it should come in, my retirement should come into my bank account when I was in Israel, and I had money on my bank card to pay with in Israel. But I didn't have that when I was going to fly to Israel. And that US dollar helped me. Or else I didn't know how to do it, because I didn't even have money to go back to my home with a taxi. I didn't know how to do it. But the US dollar could stay 2 days. And then I should pay that insurance. And I didn't have that money. I didn't have $300. about $300 on my bank account. But I had about $50 on my bank account. So that's what I did because of experience in life. I have learned that. I knew that manual, they go into check if I have paid the insurance about 8 o'clock in the morning. And if I pay $550 to the insurance company before 12 o'clock, midnight, before it was a new day, I had to pay in everything before it was a new day, but I couldn't do it. And by fate, I was counting on someone have heard it that I needed money for the insurance paper. And I was waiting 12 o'clock in the night and should take the flight later on that next day. And suddenly it showed up money, that money enough to pay the insurance. So I sent that money, but it was already a new day. It was after 12 o'clock, after midnight. But that's what I was thinking, that the computer have not told the person that I have not paid in the money, the full money. So I was thinking that it should not give any alarm if I pay in the money 5 minutes over midnight. And it did that because I got the insurance paper. And I didn't know if it was there because I couldn't see it on my telephone. My telephone have started to be old, so it doesn't work so well. And so I didn't know, but I went to the airplane, to the gate at the airport, and I say that I can't see if I have the insurance here because they can't send any paper. It's on my phone, I say. So they look at my phone, and so I had the insurance. And 2 days before I go on the airplane, I have to pay for one new flight ticket for 2 days later to take the flight. So that make also money disappear from my bank account. So I didn't have so much more money. So it's someone did what it was that make me get this money for the insurance. That is, it's no one understand that money come in, that they try to explain it with what we have in the world. But I don't have any friends. I don't have any family members that can help me. But the money come in, and it was no name on who have sent me those money. And it was, I have to have the faith, or else I should not come to Jerusalem, because that was it. If I don't get the money for the insurance paper, then is it a sign that I should go back home and do something else for that money I had with me to Jerusalem? And then they come this money. So it was not only that I get the full money to could stay in Jerusalem for 1 month. I don't know who sent it to me. That was a miracle. And then it was a miracle that I got insurance paper paid so I could take the airplane to first Finland and then change it to go from Finland to Israel. And you hear my voice that I have still is not clean in my voice. So I will end here and then continue maybe tomorrow and talk about how I travel from Finland to Tel Aviv to Israel and how I come to the hotel. But now it's enough that I tell you that it was 2 miracles happen. I heard that I should touch the Golden Gate. That was the first. And I didn't know what it was. So I checked it out on the internet, and so it was those gates in Jerusalem. So that's I knew. They want me to go to Jerusalem. So they didn't say to me, we want you to go to Jerusalem. They didn't say that. They say, you should touch the Golden Gate, they say. And then I find out that's how they speak from heaven. It doesn't need to be clearly say that to me, that we want you to travel to Israel. We want you to fly to Jerusalem. They didn't say that. To touch the Golden Gate, they say, because they knew that I should find it out what it was. And it was this with Mary's parents, that they met in the Golden Gate. That Golden Gate that doesn't exist today. It's a new Golden Gate built, I find out. And that Golden Gate where Virgin Mary's parents met, and the angel come and told them that they should get a child, a special child, and that was Mary, and she should carry Jesus inside her. So it was very special with the Golden Gate. So I knew that it was everything in that story fit in what I did later on in Jerusalem, and find it out because they were talking to me in Jerusalem how to do it. So so that many things on traveling to Jerusalem was made from heaven. it was not made of any person here on earth, because I don't have any friends. It's not that I don't want to have friends. I want have many friends, but it's like they don't like me. They say they have fear for me because I talk to heaven, that the heaven is talking to me. It's very strange for me that they have fear for me because I have so close connection with heaven and God. They should be very interesting and happy to know me. Instead, they step back and don't want to be with me and talk to me because this what happened. But so it's in God's will, everything, because I get it. And when I knew that I should come to Jerusalem, that was that a friend on Facebook that I don't have met, but he said that he should do buy lottery tickets, and if he win, because it was very much money to win in that time, and when he said that if I should win, I should buy me a really great car, very expensive car. And I say to him, if I win that money, I am going to live in Israel. That was what I was thinking I should do, to live in Israel, because I thought it still was great in Israel. And when I should buy that lottery ticket, I didn't had any money on the lottery account to pay that lottery ticket. So I have to transfer money from my bank account to the lottery ticket company. And when I open up my bank account to do that, I saw it was this that I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like I have to go twice. I have to go back to my bank account and really look at it, because there was 40,000. It was, 4,000 US dollar in my bank account. So I wrote and I bought one ticket. And then I wrote back to this man and I say, I did already win without buy a lottery ticket, because there was money in my bank account, so I can at least travel to Israel, I told him. And that's how they started. That was the first step to come to Israel. And then I know that I should buy a flight ticket to Jerusalem before the money was disappearing, I was thinking. And then maybe a week later, I heard from heaven that I should touch the Golden Gate. But I had already bought a flight ticket to Jerusalem, as it was what I was telling this man. And when the money come in after about 10 minutes after that I have said that to him, then I knew it was true that I should travel to Jerusalem, as I have got the money for that. That's how it started, the whole traveling. it's I think many of you that hear this don't really understand and try to explain it with literary things, that I had people that pay me like that, but I don't have anyone. I have the closest friends I have is you that is listen at my podcast. That's and the most closest friend I have, they are in heaven. It's God, and only that's people that is here from heaven. That it's sometimes is it so crowded in this home of spirits that are coming down, and it I don't know. I hope it's a short message, because there is someone touch me of those that is here from heaven, and it's he look like a man, but he is fat. That's what he was when he lived here on earth. So he say, don't bother me to saying these things. He say, that's what the first he is saying. And he say, I have listened at you for a long time. I don't know if it's for how long time, but for him, what is it a long time? And he say that I should not bothering to think how many people that understand this. He say that I should only go on and tell my story without change my story or think that people don't understand these things. He say that I must do my testimony about what's going on. He say, and we are those that test people. You don't need to think about that's how we will see those people that think that you are a liar, or people that doesn't want to listen at you. They see your podcast and the chapters, but they don't want to listen at you, what you are saying. There is lots of people that have seen your podcast, and they have not opened up any chapter, but they can talk bad about your podcast. This is what heaven see and tell me, that they can know that I have a podcast, but they're talking behind my back how bad the podcast is, and not knowing anything what's going on in the podcast. We see it, and we don't want you to be bothered of, to be disturbed of that you are thinking that, and you see it also, that people don't understand and don't want to listen at you. They want only negative talking about you. and they don't know anything. But we know it. We in heaven. He's saying this to me. We know what's going on, what people are doing. So it's not you that do the test. That is we that do the test on people. We want you to go on and talk about what's happened in your life and what's have happened your whole life. And we know what people are thinking and what people are saying and what people act on it. And we have noticed that, and they will hear it the day when they have to come in front of us. We know it, and he want to tell me that I should not be bothering and he want to be that me to be encouraged. He say many words in the same time, so I have hard to take one word to say to you. But he want me to be in peace and not be bothered of how people treat me and saying about me, because they see everything, they hear everything from heaven. So that's what he was saying. I love that he was coming and saying these things, because it's true. The Spirit is always true. So I tell you that I continue to talk about my traveling to Israel. Maybe tomorrow, because I'm at home the whole day. I don't have anything to do outside. So I place me in my sofa. Was the song. I place it in my sofa and recording more about my traveling to Israel. So God bless you. Thank you for listening.